Hi there, and welcome on the journey to transform culture. I'm Steve, and I'll be your guide. Well, folks, hope you're having a fantastic day and an even better week. Today, folks, the topic that I pulled out is value add versus non value add. Some of you know what this means, some of you may not, and that's okay. We'll hit this topic. It doesn't require a ton of length, but it's important to understand so that you put not only do we put what we're doing in our organizations for our jobs and so forth, but that we understand what isn't lending itself to the outcome, the quality of the outcome of things that we do or the things that we make, right? So value add essentially is anything that is necessary to, let's say you're making a product and I just happen to have a tennis ball. Okay. All the process that goes into making this tennis ball that is actually, the thread, the rubber underneath, all the components, all those things, what it actually takes to produce this tennis ball going through its process, right? Some of it's probably automated, so that is another thing too. But so at every step, it's creating more value, right? If it's something a little more complex, I don't know if I have something more complex, an iPad, small iPad, then the steps to make that iPad, right? But what is non-value add then if it's just the things, uh, the actual necessary steps going into it? Well, the things that are obvious non-value adds, and I caution you to not to get excited. Non-value add is things that a lot of times things we have to do, but they don't actually improve or help create a product. Example is administrative. If you have to fill out a piece of paper, a form, um, take time to get on your computer to update something, right? It's not actually creating a product and creating the quality of that product. Now, an exception with a keyboard would be is if you're you're setting a machine up, right? but but admin, front office admin, none of that helps to create a product, right? Your HR, while we have to have that, and there's a necessity for businesses to do that, right? And requirements for them to do what they do. Um, Nothing that any admin functions do actually lend themselves to making the product. Pretty much anybody on a production team, all the things they're doing do, right? Anybody in that value stream. But now, parallel to that, these support functions, we'll call them instead of admin, these support functions, this is why we want to find ways to minimize their impact, interrupting the production flow in any manner um, for things that are non-value add. That is not good. It's waste, right? You're stopping your process to go do a thing, right? Oh, hey, we're going to have a meeting today and it's going to be this, this, and that. Meetings are another non value add. They aren't adding any value. Now, there's gray areas with some of this stuff, right? It might be that the meeting was to figure out a planning meeting, right? There's a necessity to having that. There is a business requirement, but it doesn't add any value to your product. So, any of those non value added things that you're doing, find ways to minimize, streamline, improve the efficiency, reduce the time, shorter meetings, less meetings, uh, simplify your processes, don't interrupt. Admin personnel shouldn't be interrupting people doing production work unnecessarily. There are exceptions, of course, but for the most part, minimize that as much as you can. Eliminate the things you can as well. But within your process now, even your processes might have, well, part of my process is after I do this, this, and this, then I got to go do this admin thing. to update the thing, to do the thing, but it's meanwhile the product is sitting there. It's not moving, right? Nothing's getting done to it. Nothing's improving in the quality of it. Nothing is moving it down its production line, whatever the case may be. Obviously, we're talking about a wide swath of industry, so it could be so many things. But anyway, so non-value add is not adding any value to your product. Okay, it is, if you didn't have to do it, could you still make a product? Think of it that way. To make it real easy, it's like, what do I need to make this product? Now, there's obviously the requirements, legal and other requirements you have to do, OSHA and all that stuff. But if you didn't have to do anything, that's your value added, right? If you could eliminate all the extras, you got to run over here, you got to do paperwork, all the busy work, just make the product. So that's your value versus non-value added, okay? So with your value added, you find ways to make your quality better, right? This is where Lean Six Sigma comes in, right? Is you're trying to make that product quality better, okay? And so part within that, though, the efficiency of making that is to pull any non-value add out of it. So find ways to pull non-value add. Another non-value add would be tasks that don't help you, right? So I do this, this, and this, then I have to, walk 100 feet over here to get this special tool that's shared between 10 people. I'm making this up, of course, but there are scenarios where, a tool that's shared by 5 or 10 people, and then I got to come back, do the thing, and then take it back, not adding any value to your process. Okay. That step of having to walk away to come back. So the low hanging example of a solution is buy multiple tools, have them right there, right? Now you're just continuing the flow and you're not interrupting. So a lot of those interruption type tasks that are embedded in your processes, find ways to eliminate or streamline or improve those. So you want to have as much of a you're never going to have a perfectly straight line in a process efficiency wise, but if you can minimize so you don't have all this variability in what you do, how you do that is by eliminating or reducing significantly your non-value added elements. So hopefully you understand. Try to keep it simple. It's not, we could cover all kinds of different industries, but just think of it this way. It's anything that isn't absolutely necessary to get the job done. And within the process that you're already doing, it's those things that you do that either stop you from continuing to produce or to improve the product quality as it's moving through the process. Okay? All right, folks. Hopefully you understand that. All right. Remember, 3 to 5 times a day or more. Uplift, motivate, inspire, and just encourage folks, hitting that good green domino 3 to 5 times a day. And when we do this, not only are we helping to transform culture, right, but we're also transforming ourselves in the process. And that's very important. And never take that for granted or take it lightly. What you do is important. All right, folks. Hope you're having a good day. Hit like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.